Okay, question 14, right? Now we've got to see which condition applies here, right? And what I want you to realise is that there isn't a situation for what we've got here in terms of congruency. You know, here we've got all the angles the same, haven't we? Okay, but there isn't a situation where you've got AAA, right? You see up here SSS, SAS, ASA, and so on. But you know, if it was congruent for the fact that all three angles are the same, you'd have something called AAA, and that it doesn't exist, right? It doesn't have to be congruent if all the angles are the same, because this shape could actually be an enlargement of this shape. Okay, so in terms of our answer here, I wouldn't say it's definitely not congruent, because they could be. All the angles are the same, they could be identical. Okay, remember, congruent means identical in shape and size. They could be identical, but I would go for this here, not necessarily congruent. Okay, so they could be congruent, they could be the same size, identical, or maybe not. Maybe this is slightly bigger than this. Okay, it can be enlarged with the same angles. Part B then, right, it's saying here then, what have we got? Well, we've got an angle, we've got an angle there, and we've got a side here, right, and we've got a similar situation going on here. Now what I would do is I'd work up this third angle here. Okay, that works out to be 56 when you work it out. Okay, and the same here. Okay, you know, you work that out, that comes to be 60, because the angles have to add up to 180, don't they? Now, if you notice again, we've got all the angles the same, okay, but that's not a condition for congruency. It's not there, isn't it? AAA doesn't work. But this time we do get a side, okay, and there's a side there, and you might think, oh, brilliant, you know, we've got two sides the same here, so it must be congruent. But look at where the side is, 7.8, and the angles then, either side of this value, are different to the angles here, either side of that value there. Okay, so the sides are not matching up, aren't they? Okay, that side doesn't correspond to that. This side here, where you've got 1656 degrees, that side corresponds to this side, doesn't it? Okay, and this side down, this side here, 7.8, corresponds to this side, doesn't it? Because you've got these angles, 56 and 64, which are here. Now, it could still be congruent, right? It could still be congruent if this side is the same as this. Okay, so we've got 7.8 here. If this was also 7.8, right? If that was the case, then we could say it's congruent. However, this side here cannot be 7.8, right? It cannot be, because if you think about it, that's already 7.8. If that was 7.8, you'd have an isosceles triangle. Okay, an isosceles triangle means you'd have two angles the same. Now the angles are all different, and what happens with the triangle is if all the angles are different, all the sides are going to be different as well. Okay, so this side here, which corresponds to this side here, is different. This is not going to be 7.8. So we say you're definitely not congruent. The last one is quite nice because it does use one of the congruent rules. Because if you notice here, 7.8, 7.2, and the angle included is 64, and it's exactly what we've got here. Okay, it's exactly like it. It's been rotated round. That doesn't matter. Okay, you've got this rule here, congruency, because you've got SAS, side, and the angle in between them, and then side. It's identical there to that.